After revealing some tragic news, Nick Kyrgios demonstrated once again that he is a man of the people, with an exciting triumph in Washington. Nick Kyrgios continued his winning ways in Washington, defeating Marcus Giron in the opening round of the Citi Open. The Australian won his first singles match since losing to Novak Djokovic in the Wimbledon final last month, winning 6-3, 6-2 in 59 minutes. Stay tuned for additional information on the topic. Without further ado, let's get into what we know about Kyrgios' past. While serving on match point, Kyrgios returned to the audience and began conversing with a fan. The Canberran seemed to be asking the audience where he should serve, as he is accustomed to doing. As he concluded the procedures, it was clear that the counsel was beneficial. Kyrgios won the tournament in 2019 after defeating his opponent in straight sets and racking up a straight sets win by blasting 12 aces while losing just 12 points off his own racket. In the next round, the 27-year-old will face Tommy Paul. I was in such a bad place in my life last year when I was playing DC. Kyrgios said that he is simply incredibly thrilled to be back here, referring to the venue of the 2019 event that he won. After Kyrgios indicated on social media that he will not be playing in this year's Laver Cup, the match took place. The Laver Cup is a team tournament in which Team Europe competes against Team World, and Kyrgios has previously created a lot of excitement during this competition. "I'm not going to compete in the Laver Cup this year," Kyrgios expressed his feelings on Instagram. "All I wanted to do was make sure everyone was informed. I need to spend some quality time at home with my amazing partner and family." Ajla Tomljanovic of Australia advanced to the second round of the women's competition in Washington after defeating Sloane Stephens, the 2017 US Open champion, 6-1, 6-4. Tomljanovic was also participating for the first time since her amazing run to the Wimbledon quarterfinals. She, like Kyrgios, has not competed since. Nick Kyrgios is the next player in line for world ranking points in Washington, but he will have to wait. Lightning hit Nick Kyrgios in the quarterfinals of the Citi Open. When play was called off due to a weather delay, the Wimbledon runner-up was ahead 2-1 in the second set against Reilly Opelka. The umpire, Renaud Lichtenstein, called a halt to play. Kyrgios shook his head and inquired as to why. Kyrgios then addressed the referees. Because of lightning within 7 miles, play has been suspended, 11 kilometers. Kyrgios exited the field, and the match will resume on Saturday. Kyrgios is participating in his first solo competition since Wimbledon, having withdrawn from Atlanta last week due to knee problems. He's also entered the Montreal Masters, underlining his readiness for the US Open. Following his first-round victory at the Citi Open, the Australian star said that he was playing tennis considerably higher than his world ranking of 63, a figure he aimed to raise given the advantages of being seeded at majors. Kyrgios said, "My rating has never truly matched my performance. However, all of these games are crucial. I'm trying to concentrate since I didn't receive any Wimbledon points. If I hadn't, I wouldn't have felt as much pressure to win," he continues. "But that's okay, because I'm still putting on great shows. As previously said, I'm attempting to boost my rating enough to avoid having to play 2 matches in a 500. You will be sorely missed. I'm a professional tennis player." In other news, Novak Djokovic has been found ineligible for the ATP event in Montreal, which precedes the US Open. Novak Djokovic has withdrawn from the ATP hardcourt tournament in Montreal because of his refusal to get COVID-19 vaccination, which would have prevented him from entering the country. The Serbian star is unlikely to play in the ATP Masters, as well as the US Open, which starts later in August and requires visitors to provide proof of immunization. Djokovic will not play in the Montreal Masters, according to tournament director Eugene Lapierre. He must be immunized, or the Canadian government must change the vaccine regulations. However, Lapierre said, "I don't think any of those scenarios are conceivable." According to Tennis Canada, Oscar Otta of Germany has also withdrawn from the tournament, which starts on Monday, leaving France's Benjamin Bonzi and Australia's Wimbledon runner-up Nick Kyrgios in the main event. Wild cards were handed to Andy Murray, David Goffin of Belgium, and Vasek Pospisil and Alexei Galarneau Toronto of Canada on Thursday. Murray, a three-time Canadian champion who won in 2009, 2010, and 2015, has moved from 134th to 50th in this year's rankings. He won the Australian Open in January and the German Open in June, but he was knocked out of the US Open in the first round earlier this week by Sweden's Mikael Ymer. Despite this setback, Murray said on Monday that he believes he can improve his ranking enough to be seeded in the US Open, which he won a decade ago. There's still a chance, he pointed out. All I need now is a great showing in Canada or Cincinnati. It'll be obvious if I make it to the quarter or semifinals, which given the result doesn't seem likely right now. I feel like if I play well enough, I can do it, he adds, but I'll have to play better than I did today. Cameron Norrie will face Daniil Medvedev in the Mexico final, while Emma Raducanu and Dan Evans will compete in the Citi Open quarterfinals. Ludmila Samsonova upset Emma Raducanu in the Citi Open quarterfinals, while Cameron Norrie reached to the final of the Abierto de Tenis Mifel, where he will face Daniil Medvedev. Raducanu's Russian opponent fought hard in the first set, but she finally fell short, losing 7-6 in the tiebreak, 8-6. The 19-year-old British player had 4 set points, but was unable to convert any of them because Samsonova served 9 aces throughout the course of the 2 sets. Raducanu's opponent won the second set 6-1, which was made much easier for her by her 24 unforced errors. In the quarterfinals of the Washington competition, Japan's Yoshihito Nishioka defeated Britain's number 2 Dan Evans 7-6, 7-5, 4-6, 7-5. Norrie defeated Canadian Felix Auger-Aliassime in the opening match of his title defense in Mexico 6-3, 3-6, 6-3. Norrie may be grateful for the chance to get some practice in a match that lasted more than 2.5 hours and was the British player's first win against Auger-Aliassime. Norrie commented on his triumph, stating, "Felix had me the previous 4 times, so I really wanted to win that one. I had earlier match points, so that was in the back of my mind," the player said. "It was a tight contest. It is never a simple process. This sets up a final match against the world's number 1 player, Daniil Medvedev, who beat Miomir Kekmanovic in their semifinal match 7-6, 6-1. Finally, Norrie expressed his feelings, adding, "You always want to protect the crown. I had a rough start, but after having lost the second set, I was able to play quite well for the remainder of the match. I always give it my best on the court, and it feels great to be back in the championship final. I love playing in Mexico." Finally, Emma Raducanu is looking forward to clean slate once we open, since she will be competing against Camila Giorgi. Opener Emma Raducanu is looking forward to resuming her career with a clean slate after the US Open in Toronto. Raducanu, 19, will defend her championship in New York a year after winning as a qualifier. Raducanu's triumph boosted her up the rankings and cemented her place as a major WTA Tour player. She has, however, been unable to build on her success this season, winning just 11 of 24 singles matches and failing to get beyond the second round of any of the 3 Grand Slams. Obviously, you have to be thankful because I'm doing what I love, but I've also achieved success much sooner than I would have thought, Raducanu said ahead of this week's National Bank Open in Toronto, where she was born. "So I'm quite proud of myself in that aspect, but it's been a trying year. I've certainly encountered and conquered many challenges. To be honest, I've learned a lot from everything. I feel that once the US Open is finished and I can move on, everything will be okay. Begin again. I feel it would be beneficial to review all of the prior year's teachings." Raducanu will face defending champion Camila Giorgi in the first round of the Toronto Open on Tuesday. Raducanu reached the quarterfinals of the Citi Open in Washington, D.C. last week before losing to Ludmila Samsonova. If she is eliminated early from the US Open, she will fall in the rankings, since she will be defending 2,040 points. Raducanu, as she did at Wimbledon, has denied claims that she is under pressure this summer. That concludes our video for today. We hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to press the subscribe button on your way out. Thank you for your time.